So the other day I was thinking to myself if pistol running was an actual good way of making money. Because I do know it's a good way of making money, but I don't know how much I get out of it in total, say if I were to do it for 3 to 4 hours. And so then I decided to do a number of pistol runs just to see how much money I would make in total. And the outcomes in my opinion are better than I expected. So before I go over all the results for the raids, first I want to explain what I did, what I ran, and how many raids I did. So I went on about 25 raids, and the whole thing took me about 3 to 4 hours to do. And I know it sounds like a lot of raids in such little time, but at the same time, each raid took about 5 to 10 minutes if I actually survived. Because there are some raids where I would literally just spawn and a couple seconds later I would die. And so the map I chose was Interchange obviously, because what other map besides Factory can you spawn and get killed instantly?
I like it, cut G.
And so what I did for the actual pistol runs was the absolute bare minimum, meaning I literally just ran a scav vest and a PM with a single mag. And so some people might say this is not a pistoling kit, because it's just a PM with a single mag and you can't really gain any kills. And to that I say that's not necessarily true. And yes, I said before that it's really hard to get kills with a PM with a single mag, but I never said it was impossible. And fortunately and unfortunately, I did actually get a lot of kills in these 25 raids. I say unfortunately because most of the time I get kills, there's a 2-stack, and I die after that. So for the first 2 runs, I actually get clapped. Like the first one I shoot at a scav, and the scav has the ability just to curve my bullets away from him. And the second one, the guy literally spawns like right in front of me in the garage. Cool. That was a... I'm gonna have a stroke. I'm gonna have a fucking stroke, dude. And so with the first 2 being bad, I get rewarded for the third one with a good spawn. And so from the start, I go into Ollie, go into Tech Light, then go straight across to the stairs in the back. I then go into the computer room, and that's where I find 2 players. I immediately one-tap the first guy as soon as I see him. But unfortunately I missed a one-tap on the other guy, so I ended up dying. So for the fourth one, I get a shitty spawn, so I try to do a cash run, but end up dying to a guy behind me. There wasn't a lot I can do here. As I said before, spawning in the construction area near Railway Extract is kind of a shitty spawn, so I didn't really expect much when I died. So for the 5th one, this is actually one of my first good runs. I spawn on Ollie's side and go straight to Tech Light, which I find in graphics card and a Tetris on the floor. An important thing to look for, especially with the Tetris, is it can usually spawn on the shelves and the floor. Most people find him on the shelves, but I recently just started to see him on the floor. Mainly in the spot I found my Tetris in. As you can see, I did look back because I did remember it spawning there. So for the 6th run, I die instantly. And this is kind of an interesting death because last time in my video I specifically said not to go up the metal stairs, but my Ooga Booga monkey brain got activated when I heard the siren of the medical room. And like I said before, I instantly died because you shouldn't go up there. So the 7th run is kind of embarrassing for me, but is also a good reason why you shouldn't fuck with a scav with a buckshot shotgun. The raid starts off with a close spawn, I get good loot and Tech Light, I find a gun in the computer room, it's got M80 in it, that's fun. I end up making my way towards the back of Interchange, and so from there I end up looting all the weapon boxes from there, but that doesn't really matter, because later on I find a scav, and not knowing what it had, I tried shooting at it with my new gun, and I end up getting decked by him.
Okay, I'm good. It was a clone. I knew it was. I was just hoping it wouldn't go in the way.
Vincent just got decked!
Why? This was sort of an unlucky raid, but I still got it with some good loot, and again, this is also a reason why you shouldn't mess with scavs, because apparently a scav with a buckshot shotgun, the pellets from the shell just attract towards your head apparently. For the 8th run, I spawned on the front side of Ollie, but I'm not close enough to actually get there first. That's why as soon as I go through the door, I kinda get decked, and I get kinda anky.
That has a call back here.
But for the 9th one, kind of makes up for it since I found an ophthalmoscope in a duffel bag, yes, a duffel bag, and I end up going through Goshen, extracting through hole in the fence. The 10th run, I end up spawning really close to Ollie, and for the actual route, this is the same thing I've been doing every time I spawn near Ollie. I go through some of the tech rooms, I make my way to Goshen, and I extract through hole in the fence. And this is also a good reason to check every coat you see because, you know, the one time I check it, I get a marked room key.
Okay, marked key, that's cool.
So for the 11th run, this is a good way of showing how getting a closer spawn is that much crucial to getting the loot. Compared to the last spawn, some people may think this is kind of the same spawn, but to me they're way different, because if I spawned a little bit closer, I would have made it to the tech room first. The next run, I make my way to a hole in the floor, and so for this time, I made sure to turn off my Ooga Booga monkey brain and not go through the metal stairs, and I get rewarded with a Tetris. I meet some other hatchlings there, and I make my way towards the hole in the fence. 13th run in, I make it to the Idea tech room, then a scav pops a cap in my ass, then I kill the scav and shortly make it to mess, try to find some meds. I end up bandaging the bleeds, but I can't find any surgical kits, so I end up dying of exhaustion. So the next two runs were kind of extremely dumb. The first one I simply just make my way into Ollie, and then I see two players and apparently I just started putting the moves on them because these two idiots couldn't really kill me that fast.
Yeah.
It's very, very. Oh God, that's good. Get out of here.
And the second one I end up 1v2ing people with a PM. And so obviously after I loot them, there's another 2-stack coming after me. And so I die because, you know, I can't really hold on for that long. Plus I couldn't get my gun to shoot. I don't know if it was just me being stupid or just the gun being stupid, but I just couldn't make it shoot. And so for the next two raids, I end up getting the same spawn again, which is spawning in the front of Ollie. Both times I end up dying, but one of them I get some loot and then the other one I get a kill. 18th run in, this is my longest raid yet. This lasted about 25 minutes. There wasn't any crazy loot, but I got a few scav kills. And so luckily one of them had a backpack, and so I just looted from there. And so towards the end, I make my way up to Railway. And so the next raid I spawned in the same area where I would make my way up to Hole in the Floor. But I hear someone behind me, so I just wait a little bit and give him the... He had some pretty good loot, but I'm pretty sure he was just training for his strength because he had a lot of buckshot in his backpack. But the loot didn't matter anyways because I made a 2-stack later on and I died. And so for the last raids I had, I ended up just doing a bunch of cash runs. There was one where I actually went inside and got a scav kill, but I ended up dying in the end. So first I'm going to talk about my survival rate. So basically 64% of my raids ended in a death, and that's whether I got something out of the raid or I didn't. 60% of those deaths, I actually got something out of the raid. And so that with my survival rate of 32%, basically 50% of the time I got something out of the raid. So with everything sold in the flea market and everything sold to the traders, all in all, I got about 6 million rubles. And to be honest, if it wasn't for the spike in Bitcoin, it would have probably been around 4 million. But compared to the initial cost of everything, it certainly does pay back. Because since each kit is around 15k rubles, and when you die, you usually have to pay around 10k at most. Say if you were to die in each and every raid, you know, like 25 times, you would spend about 750k rubles. And this is adding the kit itself and the medical cost after you die. And so before I end the video, I just want to talk about the keys you can use in the interchange. And you don't really need to have these keys. There were some raids where I did use a key, but didn't really add anything to what I actually got from the raids. So the main key you want to get is the Ultra Medical Room key. And you usually want to get that early even though it's like a mil, because later in the wipe it gets somewhere to 6 million rubles. Or you have to trade something stupid like a green card or a red card for it. But for the actual loot in the room, you can find a lot of good medical supplies, such as a LEDX, but I never got any in my 25 raids. But that's really only because, one, it's rather not turned on, or someone already looted it. I would recommend the 2 keys for the Kiba store, but that's usually for regular raiding. But still, if you wanted to get it, I would recommend buying it early, and getting the other key from a quest. So I did say I was going to end the video after I was talking about the keys, but I don't really know how to end it, so I think I'm just going to make a stupid video, just to end the video off. But before I show it, just roast me in the comments. I need negativity.
Bruh, peep this one. Like, really peep this one. No more Fortnite.